All right, welcome into Buffalo Plus. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I'm Jenna Cottrell. The Bills with a huge, dominating win over New England. It's the first time the Bills have swept the Patriots since 1999. First time this millennium. And Mike, it wasn't even close. What is your takeaway from tonight?
If you're a Bills fan, it's okay to dream. Like, I know you've been worried, right? It's okay to say, are we really good? I've had people come up to me and go, are they really that good? Yeah, you're that good right now. You're blowing teams out. I know New England is not good, but they're still New England against the Bills. And it was on Monday Night Football, and you would have thought New England, maybe they did play hard. Maybe that's just all they have. But the Bills toyed with them. More so, I think, than they ended up toying with Denver in that game. Because this was garbage time in the third quarter. There was no defensive score. Honestly, Dan called it. I think they could have put up 50 or 60 in this game.
Yeah, this was a message. This was a message. And I know McDermott will not say that, this was no passing of the torch in the AFC, East, like none of that. They won't buy into that. They won't say they were the little brother. They won't say any of that. But they did. This game meant something. You saw the way that Stephon Diggs got into it with, the cornerbacks and the way that he sent the message. And just to see Josh you almost wish there would have been fans in Foxborough so you could have heard it be silent. Like you almost miss that because Josh was smiling like a kid in a candy store going like, this is so easy. Like this is how the Bills have been playing. So it was a statement win. I know they won't say it and that it was just win number 12 and that's all that it was, but it wasn't. Again, this was another game on national TV where they absolutely ran over New England, backed the bus up, and then ran over them again.
I think tonight, too, like Stephon Diggs, we know how important he has been to this Bills team and seeing the maturation of Josh Allen. 3 touchdowns tonight, over almost 150 yards. I mean, Mike, how could you have ever expected to see this connection and how quickly it's really come to form?
No, I don't think anybody expected it to go this well. Look, we all thought that Diggs gives the Bills that number one guy. But, no off season and limited time together. And, Josh, still trying to figure his way out. And what do we end up with? Josh, well, I'll say this. Josh is playing as well as anybody at the moment, including Aaron Rodgers, who will probably win the MVP.
Yeah.
At the moment, he's playing better than Patrick Mahomes. I know Mahomes won the Super Bowl. I know he's won the MVP. I know he's going to go 15-1. But at this moment, Josh Allen is playing better than him. It's, Mahomes is still great. But Diggs makes Mahomes a superstar. And, makes Allen a superstar. Like, Look at that. I confused the two of those guys, Mahomes and Allen. But Diggs is the difference, right? Tyreek Hill helps make star. So does Travis Kelce. Like, you need those guys. Josh Allen's got his guy in Stephon Diggs. And they're just getting started. I mean, this is one season together. And honestly, this season, they look like, a superstar tandem. I mean, it looks like Montana to Rice. And that's not hyperbole. That's what it looks like right now. Or I'll say it in better terms, Dan. It looks like Jim Kelly to Andre Reed, which we saw for years in the Super Bowl years.
Yeah, and Mike, the scary thing is for maybe the rest of the NFL, and the great news that Bills fans want to hear is that after the game, Stephon Diggs says they're still scratching the surface of this relationship. Again, these guys haven't had even a full offseason, a real offseason. They played Call of Duty together and built a bond. And now Josh is pretty much telling Diggs at times, just get open. I'll throw you the ball. Just get open. And that's what's working. It was comical. You talked about how the Bills toyed with them. Stephon Diggs toyed with the Patriots secondary. And I know there was no Stephon Gilmore. It didn't matter. They didn't matter. At one point, Diggs caught the ball and it took 5 Patriots to tackle him. It was a joke. And to see how these two have grown, it is impressive to see. Mike, you are 100% right. There was when the Bills got Stephon Diggs, it was like this was the make or break year for Josh Allen. It was time to put up or shut up. Like this was the make or break year. Well, it's made him. Like there's no question. And I watched Aaron Rodgers play last night. It was cool watching him play in Lambeau Field with the snow. Mm-hmm. And Josh has talked about being in that zone like he was in Arizona when he played the Niners. It seems like he's been in the zone all month. That's where he's just at. He just hasn't been out of it.
Yeah. By the way, Jenna, I was going to ask you this. Are other NFL teams going to copy the Bills and just have their quarterbacks and receivers play Call of Duty in the offseason?
I feel like it's already pretty popular, but I don't think the results are exactly the same for other teams. I mean, watching the game tonight, I felt like there was, as we know, there was just so much history tied into this game and the domination that the Patriots have had for so many years, literally decades. To see that, I felt like it was such poetic justice for the Bills to be able to put up nearly 40 points in the game and look dominant throughout. And that to me just speaks to, look, they've won 5 games in a row. I mean, Mike, there's always that talk of like peaking too early or whatever, but
no, it's Christmas.
This team is been so consistent over these last couple of weeks. Like, where's the ceiling?
The ceiling is winning the Super Bowl. I mean, right? I mean, because this team,
it's gotta be.
Now look, they haven't won a playoff game, and it is a different world. You get into the playoffs because they've reacted to things. But look, Josh was playing pretty well at the end of last year. Then you got in that playoff game, and man, halfway through it, it was great. And then when it started to go bad, and I know there was a crowd there, and they were on the road, but it just went south. He's a different guy this year. He's a better player. He's more confident. Dan's even asked him about those moments when it doesn't go well. The only thing that worries me with this team, the only thing I think that can hold them back is if they got off to a rough start against a team that can really run it. And you can see that they're not great as a run defense. And New England had some moments early. But the truth is, you don't have to worry about New England throwing the ball. Like, I mean, if they played, you played Baltimore, I mean, Lamar throws it. Lamar is, Dan Marino in his prime compared to Cam right now. I mean, I tweeted that Cam is the worst passing running back in the league. I mean, he just was atrocious throwing the ball tonight. But
savage.
You like that one.
That's
but
so savage.
If you got behind on a team and you were struggling and they were just pounding it on you, I think that would be the only way I could see this team not responding. But they get the offense going so well. And Diggs is unguardable. Heck, Beasley didn't do anything tonight, and they scored 38. And Dan called for 40 tonight, and that was only because they put Barkley in the game and started running the ball. Otherwise, they would have been well over 40 tonight.
It's so funny. I asked Josh, like, if this is scratching the surface, what can it be? And they don't want to answer the question, and they kind of skirt around it, and maybe it is just a little bit of that, like, we're just getting started kind of thing. When really, like, this is, I mean, they're averaging over 35 points in their last 5 games, and they don't even have John Brown. Like, this is like, guys, like, this is insane. But it is, again, we talk about every week. They're able to compartmentalize it. They know that the Patriots weren't a very good team. They know that this was more of a symbolic win mentally than it was to beat the New England Patriots with Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham and none of their main stars. But it was interesting. John Feliciano said none of this means anything right now unless we go out and handle our business in the postseason, and finish it by saying it's whatever. Like, I think this team is ready. Mike, you talked about like that failure in Houston. I think that is still motivating this team to – they want to be in the postseason now. It's like when you lose in baseball, the best thing about a baseball game is that, like, you get to play the next day. It just sucks that the Bills have to play an entire regular season to get that shot to get back in the postseason.
It was interesting, Jenna. Someone asked Micah Hyde about resting next week, and he's like, you know what? I'm a player. I like to play. I want to be out there, and I got things to work on. Yes, I do think they want the rest in a sense, but I don't think he's going to be sitting people next week. I think they still need to win to maintain the 2 seed. So there is something to play for. And I don't think, look, you always worry about injury. Everybody worries about injury. But you could say we're going to go out there and play a half and take everybody out, and somebody could still get nicked up and get hurt. Yeah. So that's the case. But what I was going to say about tonight, you said about the beating New England and symbolic. Doug Flutie beat him twice, right? In one season. Beat him twice in his Bills career. And, of course, Jim Kelly beat him numerous times. But since then, they had 4 quarterbacks who in their entire Bills careers each beat the Patriots 1 time. And you guys know the 4. Obviously, Tyrod did it, in a game when Brady was out with a suspension. Fitzpatrick did it in a great game in Buffalo. And of course, back in the beginning, Drew Bledsoe did it in the 31-0 game. And the other game was our boy Kyle Orton in a game that meant nothing to anybody except Doug Marrone as he was running out the door, and Kyle Orton was running out the door. So Josh beat them more times this year than any of those guys beat them in their Bills careers. That tells you how dominant the Patriots were.
Mm-hmm. They're a mess.
It does say something that I think they're officially the best team in the division, and the Patriots are not their number one rival in the division right now.
And Jenna, you make a great point. And it was maybe it was your best tweet that you've had since when the Carolina Panthers were on the clock and you tweeted that the Carolina Panthers select a future Buffalo Bill. That was a really funny tweet that you had earlier this year.
Thank you.
But you talked that video of Belichick throwing the phone, and you said when you find out that Josh Allen is only 24 years old. Like the Patriots are really bad. The Patriots were really bad, Jenna, but doesn't this say that also that the Bills are also really good? Like both things can be true here.
Yeah. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be absolutes, but on this, I mean, you look at it, the anger and frustration you saw out of Belichick, and Josh Allen is just getting started. I know the chef's kiss. It's just it's interesting seeing up close like how bad this Patriots team really is, though. Like you think the quarterback. There's so many holes on this roster, and I know they're getting buys back after they opted out, but it's going to be so much work to get a competent roster even next year. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you this: they are a team that they do have a lot of cap space. They won't go out and spend it on a big free agent. But they've got a lot of work to do. They have some guys coming back. Obviously, the key for this team is to get a quarterback. I mean, the best news I can say about their quarterbacks is they can get rid of all of them.
Yeah,
Cam's 1 year and Hoyer's 1 year, so they're both gone. And Stidham they could just cut because he stinks. I mean, he stinks out loud.
You could literally go back the last 20 years and you would be talking about the other franchise.
Oh, no doubt.
That's the conversation where you'd be like, just throw the entire quarterback room out for the Bills and start over, because like they've got the other team has the great quarterback that's going to be around for a long time and an offense that's going to constantly be rebuilding and great young minds. Like this is crazy. But Jenna, I did have one more question for you, and you can finish this. Did your mom text you that the Patriots were a bad team?
Wait, no. So actually I had my brother does not he's not a sports fan at all. And he asked me, does this mean they are now in the Super Bowl?
The Cottrell family is the best. Best
my dad
coverage
and
you will
my
find.
sisters and I like sports, but my mom and my brother are not really that way. Also, I see a tweet out here. Bills won tonight by 29. The Chiefs have won their last 7 games by 27 points.
It's a good tweet.
Some food for thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say, now look, I am not dismissing the Chiefs. They get a bye, and then they're home for 2 games.
Yeah.
They've got a great coach, a great quarterback. Yeah, they are really good. The chances, look at it this way. The Bills got work to do in the playoffs. 2 wins. They haven't won a playoff game to get to Kansas City. All Kansas City's got to do is win 1 game after a bye with a team coming off a week before. So they are in great shape, and they have Patrick Mahomes. So they can win games. You don't have to win by 30 to win. But I tell you what, if you're in Kansas City right now, you want somebody to knock Buffalo off. The Bills right now are, like I said, I think if they're not the best team, it's only by Kansas City's history and the fact that, they don't lose. But there's nobody better. The Bills are better as an all-around team than Green Bay. They're better than everybody in the NFC, I think. And because they can score. They can score. Now, that doesn't guarantee anything, but they can score. And
what a turnaround from last year when it was like them barely edging out games and the defense having to lead the way to now watching a high-flying, fun offense. I saw a tweet earlier today, like the Bills lead the league in fun. And I know that sounds so silly, but at the same point, like you can tell. And having Josh Allen say to Stephon Diggs, hey, just go get open. Like I feel like that backyard type football, like that is something that Josh Allen thrives with.
Right. It's the good backyard football.
Yeah.
Like Josh used to play backyard football, and it was like you're going to throw the ball and get your wide receiver hit by a car. And it was like, don't look at the backyard. Now it's like,
I mean backyard football because the moment's not too big.
Well, that's true, Jenna. You know, the other Josh used to tell the other guys when he was a rookie, go get open, but none of them could get open.
That's amazing how a top wide receiver changes everything.
And Sean's smiling after games.
Yeah, what's
not yelling at me? He's not yelling at me to be more specific. Like it's a whole different world.
I know. Well, let's see.
Life is a lot easier when your team can put up 40 or close to it every week. Crazy. That makes the game a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a little bit more fun too. Who would have thought? All right. Well, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and check out buffaloplus.com because we have plenty more Bills coverage there. For Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. The Bills getting a huge win, a sweep for the first time this millennium. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.